I'm going to be looking at a mini driver that is very different from what we have seen so far, and in my opinion, something that is quite unique within this category. This is the Secret Weapon from PXG. So for me, this could be the most interesting product we've seen this year, and quite possibly the most interesting product PXG have launched to date, because there is something that is very different about this, well, potential mini driver, but I think this is something more than just that. You see, the comment section is filled with 2-wood equivalents. Mini drivers are a waste of time, they're a strong 3-wood, all those kind of things. And essentially what makes a mini driver, what we've seen from Callaway and TaylorMade so far, just a mini driver, is the way the thing is built. The head shape and profile make it pretty much a one-trick pony. And in my opinion, it was a driver replacement as opposed to being anything else. This, however, the PXG Secret Weapon, is built very differently from those two mini drivers, and that's the bit that I find really interesting, and I think could offer you a real alternative, not just from the tee but also from the fairway. Now, as you can see, this is 13 degrees standard loft, but you'll also notice we've got 4 weight ports, and what's really important with PXG, any of their products, and makes it quite unique, is all of those weight ports are interchangeable. So from a custom fit perspective, it really helps you to get dialed in exactly where you want to be. Again, onto a shorter shaft. I think it's 44.5 inches, and I say think because we've not had all the specs through yet off PXG, but it's certainly a shorter shaft than driver. And you know, for me, one of the things that's really been appealing in recent years in all the mini drivers that have been released is that greater element of control with a shorter shaft. And I've not seen any great drop-offs in terms of yardages and carry distance, so it's been a real positive for me. I'm really very much pro mini drivers, but what I'm going to show you in today's video is something, like I said, that is quite unique in this product that makes it more than that one-trick pony. So the importance of the head size and the profile is really key to what I'm about to explain. What you'll see is we've got a ball that is teed up extremely low, and that's because the height of the face on this new Secret Weapon is extremely shallow. It's, like I said, more like an extended or slightly heightened fairway wood, and it's the same with the profile in the back end of the club. It's shallow, it's flat to the ground, and it is nothing like the shape we've seen so far in other mini drivers. So the question you want answering is, why do those things matter and what makes this such an interesting product? Well, we are going to hit a golf ball, you'll be pleased to know. I've already hit quite a lot of golf balls, both from a tee and also from this tight lie off the mat as well. And what you'll see is some really interesting numbers, but don't go anywhere because there's a few surprises in there as well. The first one being that I had to try a number of different tee heights before I got comfortable with something that was correct and produced the best results, because ultimately you can see this is teed up fairly low, almost like where I would have a 3-wood, and a lot different than I would have a driver, and also a mini driver that I've used as well. And there's a reason for that, and quite simply, we were teeing up too high, the ball was launching extremely high, and I couldn't find the middle of the club face. Now straight away, what is really interesting is we've got a nice easy swing there. We've got a 212 carry, 13 launch, 3.6 spin, or 146 smash factor. Nice and easy fairway finder. And what you can watch on screen now is a number of fairway finders from the tee that I hit. And as you can see, I struggled to hit anything too wayward. That often goes down to that control element that I talked about quite frequently during any mini driver video. But what was also interesting is just how far we got the ball to go out there. And with some really decent strikes, we were touching 230 yards with a, whatever you want to call it, the Secret Weapon is what PXG are calling it. And I can't believe that this thing with 13 degrees worth of loft can get a ball out there pretty much as far as what I've just been hitting driver in an earlier video that we filmed today. So from off the tee, albeit a very low one, it can do some pretty decent things. See if we can get up there. 138 ball speed. Pulled a little down the left, but it's certainly on the fairway. 230 yards, 139 ball speed off 93 club head speed. Not spinning too high. This Secret Weapon is a weapon indeed off the tee, but what about when we stick it onto the mat? Because that for me is where this becomes more than just a one-trick pony. And what you're about to see is a number of strikes with me doing exactly the same, but off this tight mat, and just see what happens now. So I will go through those 10 shots that we collected, and there's some real impressive data off the tee, like I said. But you've also seen me hit the centre stripe in this fairway off the deck, which I think is even more impressive. And like I said, goes back to that element of why I think this club is so interesting. Because it's so shallow, it sits almost like a big fairway would, like I said, very much different than a mini driver, more like a large fairway would. Doesn't sound too cool, so we'll call it a secret weapon. It picks the ball up incredibly well, and if I'm honest with you, it's not really a shot that I would attempt with any of the mini drivers. Yes, it was doable, but there was always a huge element of risk, where this is the complete opposite. We've got a fairway finder. When we get to that fairway, if we've got a long par 5, we can really sort of have a real good rip at this, pick the ball up, get plenty of height with it at the same time. I got 137 ball speed. I mean, it just blows my mind. 220 carry. Those numbers are phenomenal. I mean, I am not getting that kind of number out of any other club. And the big problem I've got if I was using a mini driver that we've seen so far is, first of all, I wouldn't have attempted that shot. And then the second thing is that this 12.8 launch angle that we've just seen just wouldn't be achievable with those other mini drivers. We'd be looking at something a lot flatter and certainly seeing something slide from left to right considerably. But all those parameters are really good. So I'm pretty much done. But what I want to show you is the full set of numbers and the readout between what we achieved on a tee, what we achieved on the mat. And I think you're going to be quite surprised at what those end results were. I know I was. Right, so before we finish, and I will take this out on the fairways because this is really, really interesting, and when it stops snowing in the UK, I promise you'll get a more in-depth analysis of this product. But anyway, for now, off of a tee, 8 shots hit, 226 average carry, off of a clubhead speed of 94, 138 ball speed, which gave me a smash factor of 1.47. So hugely efficient. That's the first thing to note. Second point, very consistent in the launch angle. Great launch, an average of 14.4, and then you combine that with a spin of 2,500 revs. We've got an all-round, real good performer off the tee. So, again, I've said this in previous videos, 225 to perhaps 235 maximum is where my driver is at right now, and that depends on clubhead speed. So this is really hitting a button. I'm more than happy with taking the control element of that with 226 carry, a suggested rollout to 250 with that spin. But that's been done before. There's nothing particularly interesting there in many ways, but then this ability to switch this up into something more than just something off the tee. Because then the next set of numbers, if I can find them, are these things. And that is the shots that you see me hit off the mat. Now, overall, we've got a 218 carry. So we didn't lose a great deal from teeing it off the mat as opposed to on an actual tee peg. A suggested rollout to 245 yards, 95 clubhead speed, 138 ball speed, 146 smash factor off the mat is incredible. Launching that little bit lower, we've not got this thing teed up, so this is very much that sort of penetrating ball flight. It's a great option to have in the bag as that second shot, but it's still spinning at 2.7. So it's not nose diving. We're getting 11.7 launch. It's launching high enough with a peak height of 70 feet, but it's not spinning too low that it's falling out the sky. So this kind of thing is, I love this name, Secret Weapon, because it is effect a secret weapon to have in the bag, and it's something that you're not going to lean on in every round, but if you come to some long par 5s, you've found the fairway and you've got to look at what you go with next. Now, ordinarily, you're reaching for your next longest club in the bag, and for me, that would be a 5-wood. I don't play 3-wood because I feel that is the sort of one-trick pony, but I feel like this thing has got some option for me. So if I'm feeling brave, I'm swinging the club well, and arguably it didn't need a great deal of effort to perform well this morning, then I'm reaching for this thing, and it could well be very much a go-to club when you're looking for the sort of second longest club in your bag down from your driver to play something from that tight lie and have a realistic chance of making par 5s in 2, or whatever it is where you see this fit. But I just love the idea that we've got a mini driver that has got some real alternative sort of options in where you might play it. I think they've done a fantastic job with this. PXG is well known with that custom fit element. The idea that we can change 4 different weights there to dial that in to suit is also a key factor as to why this could be one of their best releases to date. Anyway, that's me done. It's all been data led, and we'll get some real time, in reality rather, out on the golf course very soon, like I said, when it stops snowing in the UK. Hope you enjoyed that one. Go and check it out for yourself and let me know.